This is a tutorial on how to assemble the Powermaster Optimus Prime from the 3D printed files. As you can see, you have Optimus here in robot mode and in car mode. The eye color is exchangeable. He now has blue eyes, but it could be red or any color you want. So this is what we will achieve. A fully transformable version that looks like this. So let's see what we will be working with. So as you can see, I have the printed parts in here, most of them. It would be helpful if you will have something like this, pliers. You will need big paper clips, the 50mm one. They look like this. Okay, and you will be needing something like this, something to clip the metal. So please prepare them. Oh, and also some glue, and super glue will do, or any glue of the type. So let's start. Let's go through the parts. I will show you a bit how the parts look when they are taken out of the printer, so this is what we'll start with. So this is an example of the parts that are fresh from the printer. So not all printers will print parts like this. This is called the raft. Is this flat surface, and my printer has to have this because of the way the table is built, but it's not mandatory for every printer. So this will not be at you will not see this using every printer. So if it's done well, if the settings are correct, you can just peel off the parts like this. But in some cases, as you can see here, you will have supports like this. So supports are parts that are built so that it supports the print, like the name suggests. So because of this angle, this would be printed in the air, and probably the print would collapse. So the printer program usually generates those parts that need to be removed, and it should be quite easy. In this case, those parts would not have to be generated because of the angles, but this is the version that I have. So you just they are made in such a way that they should be easy to remove. So using this, you should be able to just grab, and as you can see, they should come off very easily. You can do it with your hands, but the parts may be a bit sharp on the edges, so if you don't want to damage your hands, you can use this kind of device, pliers. Okay, so most of the parts are off. This part inside is not mandatory, this support here. It's just here because I probably forgot to remove it for the print, but do not worry about it now. As you can see, I'm pushing this from this side, and it should come out like this. This part from below, it should come out in a second. Okay, I'm trying not to hit the camera when I'm pulling this, so you must excuse me. Okay, so in this case, I think we will need a tool. Just to help myself, I'll use a screwdriver. You just need to, because the way they are made, if you just move them slightly, they should just disconnect and fall off. So I'm having trouble doing it in front of the camera, but as you can see, most of them are off. And same for this one. This one I will just push it to the ground, and it should be easy to separate. Yeah, so as you can see, most of it is off. Okay, so this is mostly cleaned from the printer. Usually it's a lot cleaner than this. Usually I do not have to use some tools to remove, like here you see here, to remove the excess plastic, but unfortunately in this case I had to. and for this we just remove stuff like this, and okay, and most of them, as you can see, can be removed by hand if you wish. Okay, so this is here. Sorry, I'm all over the place because, like I said, it's hard to show everything on the camera. Okay, so like as you can see, most of it's removed, and this is unfortunately waste and has to be thrown out. So I hope in the future there will be a way to recycle this. I am keeping it in a separate labeled box when I'm taking out the trash, so hopefully someone recycles it. Dobra. So okay, so let's begin putting the figure together. So the figure is divided into parts like chest, arm and so on, but every part in its name has a color. So if you want to print all the parts of the same color, you can just type in the color name in the search and just drag them and print only the color. So I will show you the order that I go with when putting this together. So I begin with this part. This is the chest part. This is the newest version. I reinforced those parts here because in some cases this is an earlier version. As you can see, this is a bit thinner. So, but it will only be visible once you open it up. When we combine them, it won't be visible. But in some cases, like twisting of this resulted in small cracks here. So I reinforced this wall, so in the future it will not be, it will be stronger. Okay, so let's begin, and we can begin with putting those small parts here. So let me begin. So as you can see, these are the, let me just adjust the camera slightly. These are the lights. They go in like this, and I have a filling that's printed in a different color, and this is a transparent plastic, and it can be printed in two ways. So as you can see, I have two parts here, and they are printed. This one is much more transparent because this is printed vertically and this is printed horizontally, but from my experience, the horizontally printed ones just give like this cool reflection effect. This one is just, it's too transparent. So I prefer those flat ones, and I will use those flat ones. So to plug them in, you have to just align them, and you should be able to push them inside like this. Okay, and same for the second one. I have the second one already pushed in, so as you can see, this looks like this, and we can just push them here. They should be tight, but depending on your printer, it may be more or less tighter, so you can just use some glue to secure it. I will not be using glue because on my printer they come out very tight, so as you can see, they won't fall off. And also two lights over here, so they're like this. They're also printed from transparent plastic, and as you can see, the peg is not, it's not exactly in the center, and it depends on your choice how to put them, because they can be closer to the middle or more to the side. I prefer them close to the middle, so I just put them like this, so they are closer to the middle. As you can see, there are a bit of plastic, leftover plastic here that we could shave later. We won't be doing it now. And same for this part. And they should also click into place. So as you can see, you know what, I think I will change this one to a better looking one because it has some white plastic. Okay, I grabbed another light. I usually print a few of them because they are very small and they may be damaged. Oh, as you can see, this one is looking a lot better. So we have this part ready. This is a chest. So let's move on. I'm thinking what to do next. I think I will show you how to insert the windows. And So these are the windows. I hope I grabbed the right ones. Yeah, they are the right ones. And the way you insert them, you just have to put this like this and just push it in this direction. So as you can see, they clip in, and do not worry if they are misaligned, because we will be fixing that later. So do not worry about this, that it's crooked, it doesn't matter for now. So this is the windows already, and now they can rotate and open like this. And I think that we will do the shoulders next, because this is a part that I want to talk about. Okay, so there are two versions. This is a version that requires some glue and a pin. So as you can see, this is the way you do it. You have to push this part through and secure it with glue. So this is very stiff, but it's not very elegant, and so this is an option for you, but I prefer this one. So this is the part that looks like this, and you just have to slide this part here and insert it, and we will be doing that. So first of all, we need to slide in like this, so that, as you can see, there are arrows and they should be pointing to the outside of the arm. So the best way to do this is just to slide it like this, and I'm grabbing by the end and just slightly wiggling it, maybe a bit tight at first. Just test if it turns well, because at first it may need some help. It is okay. And as you can see, this part here is not, if you can focus, is not exactly square, and this is on purpose because the previous versions were had hard edges, and sometimes when inserting them, the plastic would grab on each part and it would break. So in this case, it should, because of the angles, it should be okay. So once again, just I'm pushing like this. It's a bit tight over here. Okay. See, you can hear some plastic rubbing. You can test the turn to see if everything is okay. At first it may be hard, but after a few turns it should be okay. And as you can see, the plastic in here is bent a little, but do not worry, the way it is printed, it should not break over here. It should be okay. So now we have the arms ready. So they look like this. Okay, and we can work on this section here. To do that, we will start with this part. This is the crotch, because they need to interconnect. Can I move further? Oh, it's a bit. Maybe I will move the camera a bit higher, so you would be able to see better. Okay, so to begin, we have to insert this part into here, and just move in and turn. Be careful not to break, because it may be tight and it may be easy to break. And did I do it? Did I break it? I do not think so. It's just the plastic rind. So it's pushed in all the way over here, and as you can see, there is a hole here, and you can use it to secure this part so it doesn't slide in and out. It's tight, but it's better to do this just so you are safe. And you can use either an arm pin or a hip pin. That's what I call them. And you will use a hip pin because it's the same color. So just push this in like this, and push it down, and let's help ourselves with something flat like this. Okay, and as you can see now, there shouldn't be any option for this to slide out, and it's exactly in the same position. And bear in mind that from the front you should have those openings here. Okay, so now we need a small pin that we'll put in here. I will get it. It can get printed in the color. In this case it's printed blue, but it won't be visible, so it's up to you. As you can see, it's sticking out just a little bit, but this is what we need. And now we have to push this over here and inside, and it will move freely, so do not worry, just as long as it doesn't fall out. Okay, so now we have this section. This is a grill piece, and we have to put this grill piece in here, and it should clip in. And we have this piece. This is a front bumper, and we have to slide it in like this. So at first it may be tight and you have to align some parts. You can help yourself by opening those parts here, but it should not be that hard when you have it in front. For me it's a bit harder because I'm trying to stay in the camera. Okay, so maybe from this side. Okay, so as you can see, you just have to grab it in the right way, and right now the whole thing is secured, and as you can see it won't fall off, and this is still wobbling. So when this is raised, you have to push this here, and as you can see it locks everything, but it can still move like this. We can move like this, it can still move, but if you push it down it is totally locked, and only movement is this movement. So this is, and oh, maybe it's a bit wiggly, but because I didn't push it all the way, you have to push it to clips. So once again, 1, 2, and now when we slide it down, as you can see it's very tight, and the only movement is this. So for transformation it's very hard to unlock. You will have to raise it slightly, and now you are able to unlock it. If it's not raised like this, it's locked in this position, and it would be hard to open. Okay, so we have this ready, and I think we can attach this part here, so I will get that in a second. Okay, so now we have to glue this part here. So I'll try to show you exactly how to do it. So the best way is to help yourself with some part. This is some leftover plastic parts. So what I do is just take something like this, get some glue. Well, normally you would have a super glue that's not dried up, but unfortunately mine is a bit dried up, so I just take a drop . So I take a drop of super glue on something like this, and using a different part, just okay, maybe now, just put this in and just rub it on that part, so it is no overflowing. The glue is only on the part that I want it to be, so this can go to the side. And now when the glue is here, just put this part in and make sure that okay, just push it in. It should dry very fast. Okay, oh, okay. So be careful not to do this. Like I said, it should dry very fast. Okay, so let's zoom out. So we have this part almost done. The same thing can be done for the windows. So if I slide those out, and again zoom in, Okay, so I have a few types of windows, and the best ones for me are the this part here. This is a transparent blue, and I also experimented with the plain blue ones, but I think those transparent blue ones are the best, so let me pick them. Okay, they're the same color, just that the way they are printed at the different angle they look a bit different. So just like before, we use our tool and I grab the tip that's ready oops. So again, just wrap the glue inside. Like this. It's better to get the glue on every edge, because it will help the whole structure of the window. Okay, so hope you saw that, and I need to push the window here like this. The glue is on the inside edge of this part, and I'm just pushing it here until it dries. And like I said, it could be done a lot cleaner, unfortunately not on camera, but so that you see the whole process, I am showing this here. I think I need more glue, so just a bit more. I find this way the easiest, just to glue them, because the part has to be very thin, so that's why. And I'm sure if you would have this in front of you, you would do a much better job than I'm doing now. But that should cover all of the glue that has to be on this figure, I think, if I remember correctly. Okay, now it's the same with this. Just put it in. And it should also dry very fast. You can put something on it to keep the weight for some time. Okay, so let's just move them to the side so they dry up, and continue on our work on the main part. So I think the next thing we can do is perhaps we shall do the lower legs. Okay, so I have the part for lower legs. There is an optional opening here for a ratchet, but as it is printed now, it is not needed, so it's here for the future. So when you do it, you just put this part in and make sure that the holes aligned, and just push in a pin. Usually there is a gray pin, but unfortunately I misplaced my gray pins, so I will use the red one, and just push it down. And I help myself by pushing it under the desk, so I will do it now. Just put it below the edge and push, and it helps to push it further, and just move it a few times so you know it's okay, it's not stiff, and it's moving okay. So the same with the second one. Just slide it in, make sure that the holes aligned, and just push in the pin. Okay, so let me help myself with the desk, and as you can see, it's not all the way in. If it happens, you can just turn it slightly and it should help. And I'm having trouble with this. Let's see what's what's happened. Okay, so the both parts are in, and now we just have to slide it like this. And it may be stiff at first, so just do not force it, just slowly wiggle it until it is in place. Same with this one, do not push it all the way in. Again here. So this is a new part, it's reinforced, so those two parts are much stronger. And there's an optional place here for a plate for the future to lock everything, but as of now I'm just leaving it open so it's easier to replace. And now we can insert the knees, but the knees look like this, and you have to slide this part inside, and you do it by sliding this part like this. Sorry for the phone. So you just wiggle it till it's at the end, something like this. Same with this part. Just put it in, and let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, and just wiggle it in. Okay, it's more or less at the end, and now we have a place for a pin. So this will be the first pin that we will use, and to do that we will use one of those clips. And just push this in. You can make sure that it's all the way in. I often use this part just to see if it can go any further. You can also test like this to see how further it must go. So just like this thing looks like it's all the way in. So again, and I think it is. And now to secure it, you just slightly move it back and cut. And now you can use a needle or something else to just put in the rest. And now it gives this extra part to secure everything, so it doesn't wiggle inside. Same with this part. Slide it in. This might be a bit misaligned, so make sure it's all the way in. Once again, push this in. Okay, I have to force it a bit. Okay, now it went in. Just bend it so it's more or less straight. Okay, and again just slightly lift like this and cut. And we have a pin inside. For this part, this is actually optional, but it helps. I think I will need a needle or something to push this down. So for pushing down, I like to use something like this. I'm not sure what the name of this is, but it's good because it has a sharp tip and this thing is easy to grab. Okay, so we have the knees. We can just slide them in. The way they are made, it's just easier to connect, and it adds another point of articulation. It's just for turning the way it is, but okay, so this is what we have so far. Let's see, everything moves. They look fine, and now we have to insert those side flaps. Okay, so there are basically two parts that you just slide in, and they should be all the way in. They may be, if they are too stiff, you can just slide them in and wiggle them a bit, but there shouldn't be any trouble. So I can see this one now is in sideways, and let me remove this leg. So it sometimes happens because the way it is printing, this part may rise up on the printer, so I often print them in pairs of 2. So I get a second one here. That should be, yes, this one is much better, as you can see. So that one unfortunately was not good. Just push this back in. So this way, when it's open, it's easy to just exchange the parts. Okay, so we have this, and now we can work on the rest of the figure. Perhaps we can do the arms now, or better yet, let's connect those windows. Since we have them, they should be dry. But before doing that, we can also add in chest shields that will be inserted here. And there are parts like this. Actually, this pattern here was designed and drawn by a fan, let's call him, or a person that's following my work, Euro Pro Gamer, and this is designed by him, so I made it into a model. So thank you for your contribution. And let's see how they fit. And they should. Usually I print them. Okay, so this is the other side. Usually I print them in gray, but right now I have them in black, so we will insert the black versions. Okay, as you can see, they cover up everything, add a bit of detail, and also help to lock those parts in. And now for those parts, did it move? Okay, so I did not add enough glue to this one, so I will do that off camera because it's really hard for me to see. But as you can see, this one is okay. So let me prepare this one to the side, and we will continue. Okay, so we can start working on the arms, and for that we need those 2 gray parts. So let's give us some room. So we can start with I usually have this extra part here to this one to help myself with this part because it may be a bit stiff. So the way you do it, you just place this gray part inside in such a way that you can see the bottom, this peg is down there, and there is a small square here, and it's in the same position as this part. So as you can see, there will be images, exact images on the instruction. So like this, and you just wiggle it down so it's inside. At first it may be a bit tight, but then it should be okay. So this was the first one, and with the second arm we do it like this. We aligned it again so that this small part here is pointing the same direction that this peg is, and we just wiggle it down and it rotated. That's why I'm helping myself with this, so it doesn't rotate in the wrong way. Okay, and we just move it in, and it should be okay. Okay, so we have those 2 parts done. Now we can work on this bicep part, and to do this I need a few more parts. That those should do. I often make extras just to be safe. So to align this, we have to put on the bottom. Before you do that, there's an opening here, and this opening is to place this small little part that just fell to the ground, and I lost it. Fortunately, I have extras just for this reason, and you just put them inside, and they will give extra. Maybe if I can show it to you like this, they will give extra friction. So the part is in like this. I just push it down. You see, so it's inside over here, and let's do it with the second one, just so you know what I'm doing. So put it like this, this one. Just make sure that this is like this, okay? And it's like this, and the focus is, and just push it down. And it's not pushing down because maybe I need a different angle. Ah, now it's in. Okay, so we have those two parts in. Okay, so now we have to put, this will go to the top like this, and this will go to the bottom, and we have to slide in those pegs here. So let's put those two in and start pushing, and make sure that everything is aligned. So this one went in, this one has some problems with going in, so if it happens, just keep this, turning this thing until it works, because at some angles it just works better. Or maybe if we turn the peg a bit, maybe like this would be better. Okay, so let me remove it and see what is wrong. I do not see anything wrong here, so perhaps there was a, yes, I think there was a leftover plastic inside that I did not clean, and it should go, yeah, so there was a plastic inside. So keep pushing until they are all the way in, and as always I help myself by the edge of the desk. Okay, so this is in, and now as you can see there is a peg here and a hole here, and it should lock in. So in robot mode it would be not easy to unlock, but for transformation it just unclips. So this is a secondary lock. Okay, so at this, now this part is here, so again move it like this and put this in. Make sure that nothing is obstructing the holes. Slide this part in and this part in. Okay, those two went in. Those two, okay, so they are mostly in, and I will have myself off camera with the rest. Okay, so we have those two bicep parts ready, and now we can slide those parts in. This sometimes may break, so I often print more than one, but it shouldn't. I hope it won't this time. So we just push this in, and when they are in, there is a hole here that is aligned with the hole inside, and we can secure this with a pin. And make sure this is flat, so now it can spin freely and will not disconnect, and it should be like this. And same with this part here, just push it in, push it till the holes are aligned, use this pin, push it in and push it down. And yes, this is done, and move it to the, it should be sideways for each one, should be turned like this to be the right and the left arm. You can of course turn them and switch them back. Okay, and now for the forearm, this is the forearms too, and they have two holes here, and they are used to lock them in alt mode. And I have those two small pegs that you just place inside, so you can place them two on either side or one up, one below. I tend to place one over here and the second one, well, and the second one down here. And I'm sorry for my hands, As you can see, the plastic can damage your hands a bit, and this is what happens. So you should use protective gloves, I think, if you can. Okay, and they should now be able to clip together. Okay, so now we can use this part and slide this in. Okay, so this is in, same with the other part, and this is in. And now we can slide in this armor. And do it like this. There's a mechanism here, and you just slide it down. Okay, same for the other one. And now we can secure everything with the fist. This part should be on the outside, and I did this one the other way around. This edge here should be at the bottom, this line here. Okay, so now for the fist should clip in. I will be working on the new hands, fists. I know this is my Achilles heel. I do not like doing hands or fists, so that is why, but I will eventually do them. Okay, so now when we have this ready, back a bit, we can attach the arms. Oh, you know what? This should be dry, so let's put this in. And still do not worry about alignment. And this one goes here. This wiggle it down. This one goes here. And do the same. Move them to the sides. Just slide this like this, and you have this thing secured. Same with this one. Make sure it clips all the way in, and you have the arms. Let's move those knees. Perhaps they could be better support if we move them back. Okay, and we have the arms here. And okay, so now we have to finish those two flaps here, and we will also finish this back part here. So we'll be doing a flap like this, and it's just very simple. We just let me check if it's very simple. We just push this in here, and we use our pin to secure it. The parts should be tight enough so that they do not require a pin, but they will be easy to push out of alignment, so that's why the pin is in there. So let's do this, so we are sure that it's all the way in. Now just slightly lift it up, cut, and push the remaining parts in. Okay, so they do not stick out, and just put them here. They will be rotating like this, and they are closing up like this, and of course this is the right one that I put on the left arm. And you know this because those two like small towers have to be at the center when they closed, so they have to be close to the edge. And you'll notice that there is a hole here. It's not used for anything. I just noticed that when there's a hole in printing those pegs, they slide in much easier, and in the future there is a possibility to add a screw here or something like this to secure it if there will be a need. Okay, so we have the arms. Sorry for the cut hair, it will be present mostly all of the time. Okay, so let's move the arms away so they do not cause any problems. So we can put in a neck here, but we will just put one for a second because we will be removing it for the head. But this is a neck, and you put it like this. You put it sideways, and then you just rotate it so that is in. There are two like grooves here, and it should like in. You can move it front and back just to get the feel, but push it so it's all the way in. Okay, and this is the front, so this arrow is pointing forward, and normally in this setting you just plug everything like this, and that will help you to align the front windows, so those two pegs. And there's a groove here, so when you need to open you can just grab by this groove. So this is the way it works. And now for the back panels. And the back panels look like this. So now we can work on the panels that will form sides of the car. These panels here, and here they are. And as you can see, they are in two parts. And this part, it should be stiff enough just to hold like this, but it will have to bend and it would be easy to knock off. So there is also a place for a pin here. So this is kind of tight, and there isn't really a good place to push it against, so you have to make sure that you aligned it well. And I think I'm lucky this time. And I am pushing like this and wiggling so that it just goes in further. Depending on your printer, again, it could be more or less tight. Okay, and this should be okay. So now again we push this back a bit, make the cut, and we have to push this inside, but you have to be careful not to hurt yourself. So maybe I will do it like this. I will push it, because if it slips it could hurt your hand. Okay, so this panel is now okay, and it's folding nicely. Same with this one. And let's just put this in here. And it's a lot easier when you can do it with no camera in front of you. Okay. Okay, inside. Now just push this in like this. Oh, and I broke it. So there's a lesson for you to be careful. So I will, because I do not have a replacement part with me right now, I will use a different one that's already connected. Okay, so this is a part that's already done and connected. As you can see, there's a wheel in here, and we'll do that in this part. Just have to push this thing through, and now we have to push this in like this. It could be stiff at first, but you have to work your way in. And if you are having troubles, you can always try to widen the hole just a slight little bit with something like this, let's say, because there are sometimes just leftover parts of plastic from the printing. As you can see, some of the red bits just fell off, and they may be here. As you can see, once we shape them off, it's all fine. And now for this part here, we have to slide in those parts, and we do it like this, so it's in. Just wiggle it a bit. Same with this part, just wiggle it a bit. Okay, and now those parts will slide in here, and it's good to just move it slightly so that it just, because they will be locking in this part position here, and in robot mode they will be locking here. but as you can see, this thing has to slide in all the way. So make sure that it is, I see here, it's all the way in. And after this you can lock this with this part here, so it should be tight enough just to hold with no glue or anything, and it will have to push everything to the side. And as you can see, we have this part like this right now. Same with the second part. Just make sure that it's all the way in, and push this part in. Okay, and let's just keep them to the sides right now. Okay, so let's work on lower legs. And so this is the tibia part, and it can be printed two ways. It can be printed like this or like this. It doesn't matter really much for the way it's working, but just so you know, there are two options. And let's use this option. Okay, so there are plugs here that I just put in not to lose them. Okay, and the way they work is you have to slide them so that this part is on the inside, so like this, and this will be a locking point later on, you will see. And you can now push this in, those plugs, to secure them, but wait a second, because we will be doing some other things. So there are two parts like this that will interlock, and you just have to push them like this from the side, rotate them. They can be stiff at first, but just make sure you push them all the way in, and they will lock like this and help to secure the car mold. But also right now it will be easier for the figure to stand. And as you can see, this is a bit misaligned, so make sure you push everything so that in the car mode it should be aligned perfectly over here. So like this, it should be like this, so it's not sticking out much. But if you wiggle those parts in and out, they should be aligned, just moving them in and out a few times. Okay, so this is it. So now these are the big parts that will form the back of the car and the lower legs, and the way you set them up is like this. This is the one part, and they should close together like this. So this is the proper way to set them up. This is at the bottom, this is at the front, and we also have to insert pins here. So let's do it right now. And as you can see right now, this hole is a bit covered up. I hope you can see. So let's see what we can do about this. So I will help myself with this again, just to make sure that the hole is open, and I can also pull this thing through just by itself to see if there's nothing obstructing, but I think, yeah, it should be fine. Okay, so now with those two parts in, you should be able to slide everything down. Just to make sure that they are aligned. Okay, it's in. It did not connect inside because they are misaligned a bit, so let's make sure they are aligned. Okay, it went in. I think that's it. So now again, sorry, slightly raise it, cut, and push this in. Because the way it is printing, I made an angle here, so you do not have to have supports, but this way, if you ever have a problem, you can just slightly move this to raise the bar out and to pull it out. So it's an option. Hope you wouldn't need to do it, but I had to do it a few times. Okay, so now I'm wiggling this in, so this one is going in a bit harder. I think I should have make sure it's cleared, but I think it's okay. Okay, it went in. I can see it slightly poking through this part, and just push this out a bit and cut. Okay, and we can push this down so it doesn't stick out, and we have this thing, and it should open like this. And now for the second part we have to do the same. Okay, if the hole is, let's just make sure that it is opened. Pull this in. Okay. And as you can see, it's sliding in quite nicely. Make sure that everything is okay. And now slightly rise it as before. Make the cut. Push it down. I got the pin idea from Tim Young's designs, his Devastator. If you know what I'm talking about, you can see pictures of it in my page. He has some really nice ideas in his designs, and I incorporated some of them. Like, I was very afraid of using pins before, but after seeing how he designed his figure, I got a bit more, let's say, brave with the pins. Okay, so we have this like this, and now we can start pushing them inside. So as you can see, you should be able to slide this slider inside of here, and it should slide up to this point, because it cannot go any further. But when you're sliding it out, there's nothing to block it from sliding out, but we will add that block later. Before, let's just put in those plugs so that this thing will not pop off. It's very hard to pop them off even without the plugs, but just so that they are there, let's just put them in. And you have to push them down so they are not poking like this. So by using something hard, let's just do it. Okay, and once again, let's start with this one. So let's separate the legs, move those parts down, but because that is how they will be in robot mode. And just move it down. Oh, sorry, this should be like this. And when you are closing this part is locking with this part. First part may be tight, and I think there is something here. No. And as you can see now, those two parts lock the whole section, so this will not open and this will function as like. To unlock this, you have to slightly raise it. As like I said, at first it can be a bit stiff. Come on. And that's hard to show you on the camera. Maybe if I move like this. Oh, as you can see, it unlocks, but it slides out all the way. But we will add an additional lock for it not to do that later. So we can move it in and out a few times so that you are sure that the second time should be easier. Let's see. As you can see, it's a bit easier. So just to work the plastic so it's tight. Because of the print lines, sometimes it's a good thing because they lock as you can see, they have this like small lines, and they lock and they create a ratchet movement, but in this case they may lock too well. Okay, so same with this, lock it all the way. Once again, make sure that everything is aligned. This one is okay like this. This may seem like a strange way to do this, but I've done a lot of those figures, and so far it's I mean a lot of Optimus Primes, and so far this was the one that's most consistent and working the best working version. Okay, so we have the feet. Okay, and okay, there he is standing, and now I'm wondering what to do next. Perhaps we will add let's do the Shin Armor and feet previous version. So let me just push this in, push this down again. Okay, so like this, and now there's this small ratchet part, and I'm doing this because there will be a lot of weight on this figure, on the legs, and some people may want to print it in the larger scale, and this is like a compensation. So if you print the whole foot, you will just need to print this small part to add a bit of friction. Okay, so when you have this ratchet in, where is my part? Oh, there it is. So you just have to put this in, align everything, make sure that this is aligned, pull this in, just move it slightly so you know that it's correct, in the correct place, move it down, and you have a ratchet movement, as you can see, and everything is working. And now we can place this heel here, and it was, most of the time it was a solid piece, but I added this two-piece part because at some poses you may want to have some additional like support, and you can turn this to the side and it will create some additional like heel part that's sticking out. It does help sometimes when posing. Okay, so let's just move those parts to the sides, and this one's not needed. And now this is a Shin Armor, and there's a wider part here, and you just have to push this and wiggle it in, and it's in right now. Just turn it, and it now allows you to extend it and move it like this. And there's a bit of plastic from the printing. Okay, so you can move it like this, and now this part is sticking out more, so when you plug this thing in, it goes through, and when you're unlocking the leg, it now only goes in this further, and you can move everything. So this is like a double lock. So if you ever want to open everything, you have to remove this part here. I did this part off camera, so I will just attach it because I am running out of battery and I want to finish this. Okay, so we have the legs, we have the arms. We can move those parts or not, and we have to work on the back wheels of the car that will be attached here, and I have those parts here. These are quite easy, so let me just move them in. Okay, so you will just push in those parts through like this. Each and every one should just go through, and what you are hearing is just locking of the plastic is locking into each other. That just because of the layers. This can be also made rubber, and there is also you can make this whole thing spin, but I made it stationary just because it's easier. and you just plug them in here. And this is the fender part, and you should glue it in. I mean, it should hold like this, snapping it in, but you will be pushing a lot and you can just at times just knock it off, so you can glue it in. Right now it's holding fine, so I will not glue it, but probably it will come off at some point. And this is very tight. There is an optional hole here, so you may secure it with a screw or something if you need in the future. Okay, and now we have to slide them in. At first time they might be, maybe you can see this is the part here, they may be stiff, but it should, it's not that bad. And again with this part here, just slide it in, and it's when moving it, make sure that you push by the wheels or by this fender, because this part is quite thin and it may be easy to break, so make sure. It only happened once actually, so it's a lot stronger than it looks, but as you can see, well, just do not try to bend it this way. Okay, so we have the wheels ready. I really need another lens to show those things better. And now we can put in the side armor over here, and often there's a stairs mark appearing here, and I am having trouble with seeing what's causing it exactly, so I will try to slightly shave off some plastic to see if it helps. So let's see. Actually it did help, but you see by rotating there's a small like white part of plastic here, so I think it's unavoidable at this like position. Maybe if I would move the hole lower in the future. Okay, so we have the lower arms ready, we have those ready. We need to position these shoulder guns, and let me just do that. So you just have to wiggle them in like this, and those barrels are fragile, so hold by this part, do not push by this part, because this will be very easy to break. And also, as an added bonus, you can see there's a extended part here, so if you ever have problems with arm articulation like this, you can just push it and hear a terrible noise, but do not worry, and it will help to lock this joint like this. Okay, so we are basically done. We just need let's move those parts to the back. Oh, well, not yet actually. We have to do the car roof, and this is very stiff, those two parts. Okay, there are now. Okay, and we have to do the car roof, and this is this part here, and it's made out of 3 pieces. So I grabbed another pin, and because this part is quite fragile, I mean it can be broken easily, I just want to push this in like this, and to make sure that the hole is, as you can see, there are some plastic coming through, so there was some leftover residue inside, and it would be harder for us to push through if it was still inside. Okay, and should be okay. So let's give it a try. This should be okay. So, and this is the part that I often broke. I kind of got the hang of it, but at this angle again. So this is the part we pushed through, and now we have to wiggle through the other part to make sure. Okay, so make sure that those parts are aligned. You can turn it and see. Okay, so turning it helps. As you can see, it's going down further. Maybe you cannot see, but you have to trust me. So tolerances on this maybe could have been a bit better, because this is maybe too tight, but that's for another update. So to remove it, just slightly turn it, slide it out, cut, and then push the remaining part inside, back inside. Okay, and same with this one, just I think those holes look okay, so we won't do a test fit. So as you can see, there are two heads. They have different color eyes, but just to differentiate them, and they are a bit different. The most big difference you can see from the back. This is a new version, this is an old version, and the difference is that in the older version it's easier to open the knob, but the new version prints better and it holds better. Hi, so after recording the full video, I came up with a small change to the head, so I will show you this now. So disregard any other information that I may mention. I hope to substitute everything in the video, but I may leave something on. So this is the head as it is now. So in order to connect this, you will just need to slide this in like this, and it can slide only one way. And here's the helmet, and I made this part like this so it's easier to print, and you just have to slide in this part, and as you can see it now goes freely, but because there is this opening here, sometimes it may turn inside and jam. So if it happens like this, just rotate it so it goes in all the way. And also here is the eye section, and it looks like this, and you can just slide this in like this, but and the whole thing just snaps in from the top like this. So in order to install the head, you have to, just like the instructions say, put it in like this, turn it sideways, so it is now inside. Now you can rotate it like this and install this part and transform it into robot mode. So just make sure everything is inside, close it like this, and you have just a head with this spec. And for the head itself, I will show you how to install this version, but before that I would like to show you this LAD version. So this part is printable and it's made of transparent red plastic, and the way there are two holes here that you can slide in the LAD. So this is a bigger battery to illustrate what is happening. So if we just put it between those two, now nothing happens, but if I turn it the other way, as you can see, it lights up. So after you put this in, all you have to do is just turn this slightly so that it is facing to the front, and if you remove this part and slide in this part, you have just the head and the faceplate with this opening here, and you can slide this part here, and when using a battery like this, another way, you have light up eyes. Not sure why this camera is not showing this correctly, so maybe if I turn on this light, okay, then this one, okay, maybe this one. Okay, as you can see, it's shining. It's right now, but of course if you do not want to hold the battery, you can do something else. Okay, and so the other method works like this. So you have to have those two bars bended like this, and there are those two batteries. I will give a description in the video description, and you just slide them. You can help yourself with the finger below, and they only work one way, so I must have did it the other way. So I slide in one, slide in the second one, and you see like this they are working, the light is shining, and now you can put this in. This can be bent all the way here. I'm just leaving it out for oh, okay, so as you can see the circuit is closing, opening and closing, but it now works. So let me just get some less light in here. As you can see, you can just move it from the top and plug it in, and you have your Optimus Prime with glowing red eyes, which looks really cool. And this is also a different windows that I'm experimenting with, the full close ones. Okay, so this is the Prime with those eyes, and it's easy, just you can just slide them off, and if you want to turn them, okay, you didn't see that, but it's easy, you can just slide them off, and if you want to turn them off you have to push those batteries out of alignment or just remove them. Unfortunately there is no on and off switch yet. And for the normal eyes, not glowing eyes, it's very easy, you just have to slide in this part, slide in this part, and this is a part that slides in and closes everything. Just make sure you're all the way in. The other way around, sorry. And there is a groove here that you can stick in a screwdriver or something, so it's easier to slide off. So these are the red eyes. You can use yellow eyes. This is an older version of the yellow eyes, and in this version you can just stick it in from the top and it should work, and it should hold very well. So thank you, and now we will return to the basic video. Robot mode, it should rotate like this, and now you can push back like this, and it should lock here. Make sure that this part here, it's like this, that it's not, and this will align the front, and you can close it down. And again, sorry for the cut hair. Okay, so yeah, so we have Optimus ready. He is ready. He just needs his guns. So his guns are very simple. You just take in the handle. There are two peg options. I prefer this one for Optimus, so this is the one closer to the back. Let's try to move back, and they should fit. And of course the arms are the other way around. The left is the right and the right is the left. So you probably were screaming when I did it, and I did not heard you, but it's an easy swap. You just put this in. It's funny how easy it is to just mix them. I mean, I'm not seeing everything in camera. Okay, so now it's okay. The arms can come in. As you can see, it's quite an easy swap. Okay, so here is Optimus Prime. Let's move his brothers to the sides, and let's clean up a bit. So before moving on, I forgot about a small part that I will show you now. It's the second time I'm doing this video, and the second time that I'm forgetting this. So it is important for car mode. So let's just open this, unlock this part, unlock this part, and it's moving like this. And when opening this part, let's rotate this frame to the front so we can see everything. So there are two pegs here and here, and we have to insert those parts inside two parts, and they will lock. There will be two versions. This is an open version, easier to print, but there will be also a closed version, you will see in the files. And okay, so this one will go here, and this one will go here. And for robot mode they should be rotated inside, so they do not obstruct the legs when they are closing. So like this. So when you're locking everything, maybe if I move this you can see better. You see, they are like this. It will all be in the instructions, so do not worry. And now we can rotate those parts here. Those parts are made so they will pop off and not break, so you may be popping them off from time to time and moving. Okay, so this one is locked, and this one sometimes it's, yes, so it's a bit obstructing this a bit, so I have to turn it slightly. Make sure that, okay, so it's, yeah, so okay, so now Optimus Prime is ready, and if I can get him all in frame. So this is how to assemble him, and I will be making another video on how to pose him, and more of a presentation video, but I will show you him with his other friends. So this is Scorpnock, it's also 3D printed, and this is Fortress Maximus. So I have files available for all three. So this is a scene I always want to recreate it from the comic, and finally it is here. So before we end, I would like to transform him just to show you that everything should work and that he should transform with no problem. And to do that, sorry for knocking the camera, but like I said, I need a different lens in the future. Okay, so let's begin. You can begin by opening this. You can lift this section, or maybe, you know what, let's move those arms to the side and move those side panels, so we have a better view of what's happening. This side panel too. Okay, let's close this for now so it's not obstructing anything. Lift the whole section up a bit, move this back, rotate this like this, make sure that the arms are to the side because it will help you to get the head inside. Slide in and lock. Okay, you can adjust the locking by pushing here because this one may slide a bit. Okay, now for here, just open those parts, rotate them, lift and rotate. We just put him together, so some parts may be more stiff than they should be, but I think we'll manage. Unlike this for this part here, unlike this. Okay, and now move those parts on the double hinge like this and slide in. Make sure that this part is above so it forms the roof, and we can lock those two arms together and now slide those armors forward. So you should have something like this. Now we can rotate this roof and close every panel down. So we have this top of the car ready. So for the bottom, rotate those parts here. You may plug them off, but I do not accept parts forming, so you do not have to do it. It would be just easier if you would. So lift this part here to unlock, lift this part here to unlock, rotate them like this 90 degrees, and this, oh sorry, and you can now maybe lock them inside here just so that they do not wiggle that much. So yeah, so lock them in, make sure that the knees are aligned, and now when this is at 90 degrees, you are able to push those wheels forward, and I am doing it for the first time, so it may be I may struggle a bit because it will be a bit stiff at first, but as you can see, it's okay. Now we can open this like this, and by lifting this whole thing here, remember we are unlocking this part, and we can now push this whole section down. Make sure that those knees are aligned. Okay, so this is down, this is down. Okay, and we forgot to open those parts here. Okay, push this again. And it's not pushed all the way in. Let's see why. Something is blocking it, or let's see. What's wrong? Why it's not going down? Maybe it's just... Oops. Okay, I popped off the side panel. Like I said, it's hard to maneuver, so I will plug it back in the camera, hopefully. Yes, it is. I will see what's obstructing, because so it may be just that the parts are stiff and they do not want to slide in, but it seems like something may be obstructing this part here. So let's just slide it in again and try to... Okay, so this part, this time it went in with no problem. Oh, not on this side. Okay, so I think we just have to force it in the first time. As you can see, it went in right now. You secure those panels again. Now rotate those parts here, and they should lock. This is something here. Okay, so okay, lock here, and he will be a bit misaligned right now, but we'll fix that in a second. Okay, so as you can see, he is a bit misaligned, so just put him in, make sure that everything is aligned. Something is still wrong with this side. The waist is turned. Okay, so now it should be better. Okay, push it down, make sure that every panel is okay. This part here, you have to push it slightly up, just so that everything is aligned. Okay, so let's see if this is okay, this is okay. So usually sorry, so yeah, so he is aligned more or less. I think I could do better if I just did it off camera, but I wanted to show you on one take that it can be done. You can extend it a bit for it to be a bit longer if you prefer that. You can insert the guns here, and it can be a bit stiff at first, as is in always. Those parts here can lift a bit. I know that this may seem at finish, but this is the stage that this is at, so you just have those covers here. Perhaps I could just slide them in more, but I just leave them like this because it's not that important for me at this stage. And as you can see, the figure is modular, so you will be able to exchange those parts. And I knocked this off again. I'm struggling with battery that's dying, so I want to show this. I will be making a proper presentation later on, a composed version. So here's Optimus for comparison. Here is Jazz, Blue Streak. So here it is. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped you with constructing your version. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will leave the links to the files at the description of this video. So thank you and take care.